Hi, thanks for checking out our channel. This is going to be kind of like an overview of this particular unit. This is a brand new Gallagher M1500 15 stored joule unit we got for a customer here the other day. We became a dealer for Gallagher back in January 2021, but we've been working on fence chargers for 17, 18 years now or something like that for a while. And you know, I was real hesitant on being a dealer for any brand. You know, I'm a repair guy by trade. That's what I like to do, is work on stuff. You know, but we work on all brands, and we see all the good and the bad of what's out there. And over the last like 3 years, we've been getting more and more phone calls like, hey, what would you buy? What would you recommend? And I always give like 2 or 3 brands of recommendations out there, because there's a lot of stuff out there, good or bad. There's a lot of stuff out there. So back in like the fall of 2020, my wife, we were sitting down chit-chatting about something, and I was, you know, man, I get a lot of phone calls. What would you buy? And this and that. She said, well, have you thought of becoming a, you know, selling something? Because every once in a while people would ask. They like my personality, I guess, a little bit. Like the fact I'd give them some honest answers of what would work, what not to buy, what to buy, you know, what's good or bad about a particular model or unit or brand. So they like to say, well, they like the fact that I'd give them all that information, because a lot of companies you talk to that sell stuff or make stuff, they'll always tell you 100%, oh, ours is the best out there, ours is the best built thing out there, you know. Or you'll ask, well, what do you think about this? Oh, that stuff's junk, don't buy that. So that's the way overpriced, or that's this, or that's that. They're just a salesperson trying to sell you their brand. You know, that's what it is. You know, it could be like you go to a general GMC dealer and say, hey, what's the best truck out there? And they show you the $75,000 truck when you could have probably got by with a $45,000 truck. And well, I've been looking at the Ford F-150s, or I've been looking at the Dodge Rams, this and that. Oh, don't buy that stuff. It's junk. It falls apart. Just, you know, it's just a sales guy trying to pitch you something. So I always hated salespeople. You know, myself, I always hated dealing with them. You know, no matter what you talk to, they always wanted to give you theirs the best and everybody else's junk. So my wife asked me, well, what would you, if you were going to sell something, what would you want to sell? What brand would you want to get with? And I sat for a minute and thought, and like, well, gosh, if I was going to buy something and if I could afford it, I'd buy the Gallagher one. I don't hardly see any of this stuff ever come in. At least not the newer one. I see old ones that are 10, 15, 20, 30-year-old stuff come in. But I hardly ever see anything new, unless it's lightning damage. But you know, no matter what any brand does for lightning protection, they all get hit. It doesn't matter what it is, because I think their quality is second to none. No, I don't think there's much out there quality-wise that can really hold a candle to the Gallagher stuff. I mean, there are some good other good brand. Cyclops is a really good brand. They don't carry the same warranty as this. These carry a 3-year warranty on them. Cyclops only carry a 1-year warranty unless you buy their extended warranties, but you have to do all that stuff within 30 days, and you have to pick, do you want 1 extra year, or you want 4 extra years, and it costs money for each year you want to have. So, you know, you do get a lot of money, bang for your buck. Some people love them, some people like them, and some people are like, nah, I don't want that one. So we chose Gallagher. You know, of all the brands we could probably got on board with, we chose Gallagher. So this is the Gallagher M1500. Now, one thing you got to be a little leery about, any brand out there, doesn't matter who it is, Zariba, Parmak, whatever. You see these miles and acreage ratings. Like this says powers up to 160 miles, 900 acres. Now you got to take that with a grain of salt for a second. Flip it over the back. Not every brand will give you this information. Gallagher does. Now, when you look at a fence charger on the shelf, and say, oh, and say a Parmak SE5, 50-mile range, or Zariba 6 joule, 100-mile range. Well, that is clean fence rating. So you go down here, M1500, clean fence, single strand wire, clean fence, 168 miles, 900 acres. Now, I don't know how many of you out there have a perfectly clean fence. Maybe you do. But it's really hard to keep a fence clean. You gotta, man, it's like a part-time job sometimes. And once spring, summer hits, if you don't stay on top of it or have somebody go out there and spray or weed whack it or brush hog it or whatever, and it starts creeping up, man, it'll get away in a hurry. Now, so they give you this other rating called typical fence, multi-wire and some vegetation on there. So that's the more, I think, real-world rating. Nobody else out there will give you this information. Only Gallagher does, that I know of. You look at the M1500, well, multi-wire fence will do 40 miles or 360 acres. So that's a multi-wire strand of fence with a bunch of grass on it. So you gotta, you gotta be leery about those mileage acreage ratings. So don't, and that single strand setup of clean fence, that's perfect ground system, high tensile 12.5 gauge wire. It's not like little 14 gauge aluminum fence or whatever, some or braided wire, stuff like that. All that stuff has a lot more resistance. Single strand, high tensile 12.5 gauge, high tensile fence wire has got about the least amount of resistance in it. So that's what this rating is based off of. So you got to be a little leery about that. You got to understand what they're actually stating for you. These come with, like I said, 3-year warranty right out of the box. You don't have to register it or anything. They do have a 30-day satisfaction guarantee on it. So if you buy it, don't like it, or need a bigger one, about the wrong size, you can return it within 30 days to the local store. Or if you bought one from us, send it to us, and we'll refund your money. Or if you want to buy the next size bigger, or you bought too big of a one, I don't know. But we can help you out with that. I don't sell a lot of units. I'm not really big into selling, but people in the last month or so have been hitting us up more and more for fence chargers. I guess the videos that we put out there have been, spreading the word. I don't go out of my way to really push selling people stuff, but if they want to buy one, I'll sure help them out and get them a good price on one. This is brand new. Every once in a while, Gallagher will have scratch and dent stuff in their scratch and dent area, or open package, what do you want to call it, over there. They rarely have these bigger ones. They always have small ones, like little M160s or S10s or whatever, small solar stuff. They'll sometimes have some mid-range ones, but people snatch some things up pretty quick sometimes. But here's some of the information that comes with it. You get the fence manual, the unit. This manual goes with the M1100 and M1500. Basically the same unit case-wise. Just the 1100's got smaller capacitor, different parts in it to make a little bit less power. But it's a good unit either way. But it just goes through and talks about the electric fence, practices and how to hook it up, and even gives some good information about like spacing. Well, that's Spanish. Hold on, let me find the English here. There you go. They give you some options for wire spacing and post spacing. They give you a bunch of information there for dairy cows and beef cattle. Just some good little information in there. Not a lot of brands will give you this kind of extra information to help you out with. You can talk about a all hot system or all live wire, so all hot wire fence like that. All say 3 lines are all hot, and they give you a earth return, a ground return wire system. So if you have a rural dry, areas with poor grounding, so like a really dry situation, like say in Texas or Oklahoma or Arizona, anywhere that gets real dry. Now this earth return system will work. It doesn't matter if it's wet or dry. It works. Helps out a lot when it's dry, but you can do it even when it's a really wet environment, say in Louisiana or Nebraska, where they get some good rain sometimes, and like Florida or Washington, upper northwest area. But it's just some good information. And then they talk about the it has a row of LEDs. We're going to plug it in here in a second, show you. But it has a row of LEDs, a little light in LED indicator. It's like a fence performance gauge, I call it. So the higher up the lights will go, the better conditioned your fence is. And these are adaptive control units. They call Gallagher's. Yeah, adaptive control is what Gallagher called that. To think for a second, but adaptive control on these. Gallagher's been doing adaptive control on their big units since the 80s. And then the last 10 years or so, been sneaking it down into the mid-range stuff. And now their new ones, yet they get to 11 joule or higher, they start doing that adaptive control. Basically, what that means is a lot of units have trouble with having too big of a charger on too small of a fence. And certain brands, all of them have that problem, but some brands just have better built product, or better built components, or better built transformers to tolerate that. So if you have, say, a unit that's made for, say, 300 acres and you got it on 2 acres for whatever reason, a lot of chargers would have a real hard time. You have a lot of loss. It would put out so much power to the fence, but all that extra power would just be lost in heat inside the transformer or whatever, inside the unit itself. Gallagher's don't really have too much trouble with that, even on the M1500 and smaller that aren't adaptive control, because they have really well built transformers that tolerate that. They've got like a multi-layer transformer inside there, and then Gallagher builds their own transformers in-house, build their own boards in-house, outsource it to other companies or other brands or anything. They build everything in their own factory. And you get into adaptive control stuff, it basically will adapt the output of its shock power to what it feels is hooked up to it. So this thing's rated for, say, 360 acres of multi-wire fence. Say you only got it on 45 acres. It will use what it feels it needs to. So if it's a so it may only put out 25% of the power, and the extra just gets kind of left inside there on the capacitor and board and everything. It kind of uses what it needs. But as soon as grass grows up on the fence, or an animal touches the fence, or you add more wire to the fence, it will adapt its output to what it feels is hooked up to it now. So they run real efficient on the inside. They don't get that hot. I mean, every fence charger will get warm. That's just a byproduct of electricity, because a light bulb gets hot and it just sits there. So these chargers will get warm to the touch over time. But that's normal. That's just normal electronic stuff getting warm. That's just how it is. So this is the unit right here. Nice compact unit, not real large in size physically. It's a 15 stored joule, probably 10, 12 output, I would guess. So it packs a pretty good punch. And like I said, it only uses that output joules. It only uses as much as it needs to. So it has really good knobs on the front there. They're good plastic. They use stainless steel. Not stainless steel, but they use good bolts on there, or split bolt on there, so you can slide it right up in there. And then the knobs, if they say the knobs fell off, you dropped them, like, oh crap, you don't know which one goes where. And they all are labeled green with the ground symbol, red with the little, to show up, little lightning bolt symbol there. And if you look at the unit, it has this, if you drop the knobs on the ground, you pick them back up and you're like, oh crap, where does it go? Well, they got it etched into the case there, ground and fence, so you know which knob goes which spot. And the older ones, 10 years ago or so, these caps would fall out, and then you'd lose them, but that's why those are etched in there. These ones, the cap, the green part is molded all the way into the base of the thing, so it's not going to come out unless you, I don't know how it would come out unless you drive it out of there. But Gallagher builds their, like I said, builds their own cases, their own plastic cases in-house. They make their own knobs in-house. They build their own units in-house. I mean, everything's built by them. Oh, let's power it up here. We'll show you it working here. Now, watch this little light gauge right here. I think there's like 2 red, a yellow, and 2 green. I think that's what it is, or maybe 1 red, 2 yellow, and 2 green. Can't remember. But anyways, when I first plug it in, it may only go up to, maybe the bottom ones. The next supposed to be a little bit higher. Next supposed to be a little bit higher. You see it gradually climb up. Well, that's it adapting itself up to its peak power that it feels that it needs. So watch it when I plug it in here. See? See, gradually got a little higher, a little higher. So yeah, it has 1 red, 2 yellow, 2 green. So this, as long as lights go up in the top area, you're doing fine. You may have a load out there, but that's what a fence tester's for, to check your fence for faults and everything. You can do that. So at a glance, you can tell how good your fence is doing just by looking at the gauge at the front there. You always test the fence with a fence tester and stuff like that. If you walk by the next day, it's only in the yellow. Like, ooh, I might have a short out there. I better go fault find my fence, look for look for a problem out there. If for some reason it's down in the lower yellow or the red, most times it means you've got a bad problem dogging one of these things down. Now, if you're not sure, is my charger the problem or is my fence the problem? Well, easiest way to do is unplug it, take your knobs off, pull your fence and ground off there, plug it back in. Say you walk by and it was only in the lower yellow or red, and you unhook everything, you plug it back in, it goes right back up to the green again. That means the charger's probably okay. You got a problem on your fence dogging it down, so then you got to go get those fault finder testers and go out there and start tracing and tracking down your faults and do some troubleshooting on the fence. And then, once you fix your problem, go back and turn it back on and see if it corrected itself, see if the gauge goes back up to the green again. So good units. I mean, this is like the first one I've ever seen in person before. I've never had to work on one. I've gotten in the M1500 maybe once or twice the last few years, but both those were lightning damage on the AC side. So we're going to test it here. Getting a little over 8,000 volts out of it. And this, for the heck of it, let's put a screwdriver across and see what kind of jolt this thing or spark the thing will jump. I'm just going to go ground and get really close to the fence side. So, packs a good punch. It's a good unit, but like I said, if you don't need something this big, like the M1100 Gallagher is an adaptive control unit, or if you need something bigger, the MBS or MB, whatever it is, 1800i and larger, the I series, those are all adaptive units as well, so they adapt their output to the fence conditions as well. But then the bigger Joule unit you got, or you're wanting or whatever, the more money you got to pay, because it's like horsepower in an engine. The more power you want, the more you got to pay for it. So that goes for any brand. So hopefully you like this kind of stuff. This educates you a little bit on the Gallagher product and on the Gallagher M1500. Like I said, we are a dealer for them. You can call me up, text me, email me. Happy to get you one, if you want. We sold the customer this one. He asked for it. We got him a price. He said, "Yep, sounds good to me," and bought it from us. So I don't go out of my way to advertise that that to buy it from us. We're the only ones out there. There's plenty of stores that sell them. There's online retailers. There's physical stores. Tractor Supply does not sell this brand, so if you go to Tractor Supply looking for Gallagher, good luck. They sell Zariba, American Farm Works, Blitzer, Bulldozer, whatever it is. They sell that brand over there. But like there are some chain farm and home stores that carry them. There's some small co-ops that carry Gallagher. And if they don't have a particular model of Gallagher, if they got this, few models but don't have one you want, just call and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a Gallagher M1500, and all you have is up to the M560. I want a bigger one. Can you order me one?" And all they have to do is call down to Gallagher and order one, and it's not a big deal. They may not want to do that. They may only want to carry what they have. Some stores nobody's required by Gallagher to carry every single model, because not every market out there needs every model that Gallagher carries. So anything Gallagher related, fence charger wise, is good. They've got straight AC model like this one. They've got dual powered AC DC units that can do either or. They've got solar. They got all-in-one solars. They have built-in batteries, built-in panels. All you have to do is hook the battery up, let it charge for a few days in the sun, and then it's ready to go. So they've got small units like for your gardens and beehives and small stuff like that, and they got great big monster units made for 1,000+ acres, 3,000 acres. So they got about every size in between that you can think of. So hopefully this helps you out. If you want one of these, get a hold of me. I'll help you out. Try to get you a good price on one. The good thing is we are a repair place by trade. That's what I do. I mean, I fix 95% of what comes in here is not Gallagher, and we fix about 95% of those other brands. So I don't go out of my way to try to sell somebody something. I want to fix stuff versus selling stuff. But if you want one, we'll help you out. Or if you want us to fix one and you want to buy a new one, have a spare one or whatever, that's always an option too. While we're fixing one for you, we'll get you a price on something new if you want a backup unit or something. Alright, well that's it for this little video, and hopefully you like this kind of stuff. Subscribe to our channel, do a YouTube search of a particular brand and model of different ages. I've got about 640 some videos on YouTube, so there's a bunch of videos out there of different stuff, how to fix things, how to repair them, test them, how they work, review videos, good and bad, stuff like that. So happy to help you where I can. So have a good day and see you later.